Hello everyone. Welcome to yet another live stream from Hack This Fall. And this time we are coming up with a different category once again. We have done different lightning talks, workshops in the past, and from now onwards, you'll be hearing more from sponsor representatives about the products they are bringing, technologies they are bringing, and how you can leverage those and also build exciting projects during the hackathon and maybe participate in some of the exciting challenges there and win some good prizes over there. But all in all, it is more about learning, building something new, and I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of fun around that as well. So I would like to welcome each and every one of you who are joining for this particular live stream. Feel free to say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're joining in from. In case you're watching this later, let us know how it was and would love to hear more about your thoughts on this. But talking about Hack This Fall, yes, we are coming super close to our hackathon, which is the fourth edition of the hackathon that we are hosting on 9 to 11 February in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. It is going to be a 36 hours in person hackathon, and I definitely can't wait for it to happen. About 3 weeks to go, I believe, and it's already getting excited. But here we are with still virtually interacting with our community. And today we have brought a great insight from a workshop content that we like to call it as Elevate Your Hackathon Game with GitHub Copilot. Now, if you are listening, let me know in the chat how many of you all are aware of GitHub. I'm sure everyone is because for developers, GitHub is something which is unavoidable, isn't it? You must be using GitHub in your day-to-day life at work while you're collaborating with your student team members or colleagues outside at different hackathons or different events, or let's say just for building some fun side projects over the weekend. But today, not just GitHub, because we have had bunch of workshops in the past where we have talked about Git, what is that, GitHub, how to use it, how to leverage it in the best way possible. And this time we are coming up with something super exciting, which is GitHub Copilot. And whenever I hear GitHub Copilot, the only thing that I can think of is how easy my life would be if I start using tools like GitHub Copilot, while I'm coding with my team, while I'm working on some projects. And especially when it comes to hackathons, I think Copilot can be a game changer, right? So we're going to talk more about it. We have an amazing speaker, Afnan Abdul Vasay, joining us all the way from GitHub. He is a GitHub campus expert, and he'll be sharing more insights on what GitHub Copilot is, how you can leverage it, and all the amazing things that you can do with that. So without wasting further more time, let me quickly have him on stage. Hello, Vasay, welcome. How are you?
Hello. Fine.
Good, all good. No worries. But yeah,
Yeah.
I I know that we were talking about this particular workshop for quite some time now. So,
Okay.
what is something that you're looking forward to from this one while you will be giving all this content to all our audience?
Mm, I like everyone to use Copilot because it's something which is going to help them building their projects during the hackathon and awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I can't agree more on that. So I see people are there saying that they have been using GitHub for a while now, but it's going to be super fun and interesting to know more about GitHub Pilot now, which can be a level up for you and your team at Hack This Fall or any other hackathon out there. So without wasting further more time, let me quickly, bring up your slides, Vasay. And it is quite visible to our audience now, and the stage is all yours. Take it forward.
So hello everyone, this is we are going to talk about how we are going to empower hackathons using GitHub Copilot. All right. So I request everyone to download, scan the QR code if you don't have student developer pack. And student developer pack is something through which you can get access to Copilot. And if you are not student and if you are someone who is working professional, you can also try our free version of GitHub Copilot. So, and I think the link is also available in the chat box. So, yeah, what we'll be covering today? We'll be covering today about what is GitHub Copilot, some of the features, how you can tackle complex problems during hackathon, and best practices of using Copilot, and many other things. Before we start, Let me introduce myself. I am Abdul Vasay from Hyderabad, India, and I love building communities, watching movies when I'm not coding, and I'm the founder and lead at CodeWave Hub and GitHub Campus Expert. So always a question comes arise, what is GitHub Copilot? What do you mean by Copilot? So Copilot is something called AI paid programmer. It helps you to predict the code based on the context which you have already given. It is being developed by GitHub and powered by OpenAI. I think everyone knows what is OpenAI. Uh, so it is an AI powered code suggestion. Now I want to highlight this one thing that AI powered code suggestion, GitHub Copilot is a tool and not someone like it cannot perform its task without the developer itself. You need to perform the task. Let for example, let's say you are in the class and you got a question regarding anything and you ask the faculty about if you didn't ask the faculty what is the faculty won't be able to answer all your questions. So same thing with GitHub Copilot. You need to explicitly give a command of what you want from the Copilot, and it is going to showcase you the answer, showcase you predicting the code and everything. And one of the best uh, thing about GitHub Copilot is language support. It has one of the largest language support from Python, JavaScript, and many other programming languages, which Copilot suggests you, and you can work on different programming languages. Uh, Always, when you are working on a projects, big tech projects, you always get to work on different programming languages, different frameworks, and many other things. And GitHub Copilot has a large data through which you can always work on it. Seamless integration. Now, what do we mean by seamless integration? One of the problems as a developer I face is changing the screen from one place to my code editor to other platform like Google, searching different things. Now, GitHub Copilot have solved this problem. You can use GitHub Copilot in your chat editor itself, your famous editor, code editor. VS Code, Python ID, anything you want, it will be showcasing you. You can work on GitHub Copilot using your editor. So, what are some of the features, users of Copilot? You may be asking, wondering about how you can leverage and what are some of the qualities of GitHub Copilot, right? So, it can convert comment to code. You don't need to write the code, you don't need to write anything. You just, in your code editor, you need to just simply type a comment. Let's say, for example, you want to validate a phone number in JavaScript. You need to just, with the help of comments, you need to write, hey, I want to create a code to validate a phone number, and it will automatically be predicting the code. And auto repetitive of code, like for example, you already know the code and you are typing. It automatically predicts the front code. Like for example, one of the best example of this will be email writing. Whenever you are working on mails, you have seen that it can predict the future tense, like based on the past, based on the previous code which you have already written, it is going to predict and move forward. And other thing is, as a developers, there are always time that there are other better ways to write a code. There are always a better way to implement the code which we may not be familiar of. And GitHub Copilot is something which is going to help you to show alternate code. Maybe the code which you already know are taking, for example, let's say 15 lines of code, but you can always search other programs and it may take 5 lines of code. And uh, we work on programming. We take each and every line. Every seconds is important to us. We need to always reduce the time, right? So these are some of the features of GitHub Copilot, like converting your comment to code, autofill your codes, and alternative showcasing different ways of how we can write the code. Now this is the video sample of how it is going to write. Now you can see it is automatically predicting the future code, and you don't need to explicitly write what you want to write. See, so how Copilot can be used in hackathons, and is it really helpful? So recently, I got one of my friend asked me. I'm a beginner and I'm not sure how I can, will I be able to complete my project within 30 hours or within the specific time. Now, hackathons are something which needs to be doing within the time frame. And most, if you are a beginner, you will be facing a lot of time in this thing, particular thing that I'm not able to finish the code within the given specific time. Now, this is the place where GitHub Copilot plays a virtual role by providing you by speeding up your process. It generates the code faster. You don't need to explicitly type the code every time. It is an idea exploration. You have the time for exploring different ideas, different code. You get not worrying about syntax errors. You don't need to worry about syntax or any other things. You just need to worry about how you can improve your code, how you can suggest different ideas and many things. And always we have different teams in a hackathon, and every member have different ideas of, and different member have different level of knowledge. And GitHub Copilot, let's say you, for example, you are working on JavaScript and one of your teammates doesn't know how to use JavaScript, and there is a project and which he needs to use JavaScript. So GitHub Copilot is going to help the other one of your teammate by explaining how each line is written and why it is written. It helps in collaboration. It helps in idea exploration. You get the chance of exploring different ideas, not worrying about error. And error is something which we as a developers are always worry about, like typo errors, forgetting commas, forgetting spelling mistakes, and many other things. Now, this is something Copilot take care of on behalf of you. So, how can you enhance the developer? GitHub is going to enhance your developing experience. So it completes your code. You don't need to explicitly write each and every line of code every time you are working on your own, because already you are having a limited time amount. And one more thing, hackathons are more focused on networking with people. So you don't need to always be sitting in front of the system and working on the code. It's the chance you get the free time to network with other people, talk to other people. Uh, it saves your basically it saves your time. All right. And code consistency. Now, what do we mean by code consistency? We may be worrying about, okay, so everything is written by AI. That means AI can have different programming languages, different structure, which sometimes we may not don't know. Now, that is something Copilot doesn't create a code from something which you as a developer don't know. It is going to create from the past trained data. That is, for example, you are working on a project and it is going to predict, it is going to recognize your pattern. It is going to understand what in what way you're writing a program. And the same thing it is going to predict. It's not going to predict something which you are not familiar of. All right. Uh, so it is continuously understanding, recognizing the pattern which you are already working on from your that code, and then it will be predicting, which maintains the consistency of the code, not breaking the structure, not breaking the overall developing experience. And third thing will be learning tool. Now, GitHub Copilot is one of the best way to learn during hackathons. Now, hackathons are a place where you can network with people, learn about different tech stacks, and GitHub Copilot is going to help you. Sometimes we work on different big projects, which requires different programming languages, some of the new frameworks which you are not familiar of. And GitHub plays uh, comes into the picture and helps you in learning different programming languages, how you can implement different frameworks which you have never familiar of, but still you are able to work on it. If you are a beginner, and maybe if you are not even beginner, there are GitHub Copilot is going to help you a lot in it. So one more thing, tackling of complex problems. Sometimes we are very into ourselves that we may not be able to get the chance of tackling the problems. Tackling the problems may be sometimes called algorithm searching. Seeing the time complexity, space complexity of the code, and as a new developer or someone who is performing under pressure of time, we need a proper algorithm. And GitHub Copilot suggests you a good algorithm so that you can work on it and build on it. The other thing will be the domain specific knowledge. Now, what do we mean by domain specific? GitHub Copilot is going to recognize and it is best practice when we are working on a domain specific. Let's say, for example, you are working on a machine learning projects or maybe even web development project, app development projects that uh, Copilot is going to recognize and going to integrate with all of your work and will be helping you to build the projects and implement it. And the third thing is code refactorization. Let's say you have written a code and you're not sure whether the code is right or not. You want to refactor it, you want to change it. You're not sure whether the whatever you have written the code is up to the mark or not. So GitHub Copilot is going to help you to refactor code to see alternate ways of code and how it is going to help you. Okay. So what are some of the best practices of GitHub Copilot? Now, when I said GitHub Copilot is just an AI tool and doesn't work until and unless the developer in itself work on it. So sometimes it may get errors, sometimes it may fall problems and things, and that is the reason why you never blindly accept the code. You need to understand the suggestions. Understanding the suggestion is very important. So understand what it is saying, what whether it is aligning with your project goals or not. Is it giving the expected output or not. And once you are done with understanding the suggestions, now verify and test whether the output which GitHub Copilot have given is it correct or not. Test it, run the test cases on it, and see if the run test cases passed or not. And once you are done with it, combine the manual coding with AI coding. It shouldn't be something like everything Copilot is working and you're not working on it anything. It is it's, it doesn't create an the project. It creates a lot of problems in the project. So always combine manual coding with the AI paid coding. And when we are talking about so Copilot, we need to define a task. So that comes into the picture of prompt engineering. Now, what do we mean by prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is something you giving a detailed task to the program about you need to perform same specific thing. For example, let's say we always have a complaint of ChatGPT that it is giving us generalized answer, but not on a particular thing. It's the fault of we giving the input. We need to provide a detailed input so that the AI can understand and what we really looking into. Let's say, for example, you want to construct a building. Now, if you just ask the ChatGPT or any AI program that, hey, build me a building, it is not going to construct, it is going to just give a normal generalized answer saying you need to consult architecture, you need to consult engineer and the cost of it and so on. Now, but if you want to be more specific, like you want to know how it is built and everything, you need to give a prompt, a more specific on it. Like say, for example, hey, I'm an engineer. I want to build a two floors here, two floors building, and I have a square foot of 300 square feet. So construct me a house, design me, and so on. So at that time, he knows the AI knows what we are actually looking into and have some context between it. It's not like gender. It won't give a generalized answer, but more towards the answer which you already know. So same thing happens when we are talking about GitHub Copilot. So whenever if you want to, let's say you want to validate a phone number or you want to implement a validation in the website registration form. So if you just write, give me validate, create a validation code, it is not going to create a validation code as you expected. It's just going to create a random, not random, but more generalized answer. Let's say uh, phone number it should be now if you give a more prompt answer that hey, I want to create a code for validating phone number, name, email ID, and the specifics of phone number should be so and so. It is going to write the code in a more detailed manner. So always give a prompt answer. Make the AI give more context to AI. Now, I think already understood in the theoretical part. Let's work on practical aspect of it. Um, Now I want you all to be working on GitHub. So how you can access GitHub Copilot? I think you already are working on. You can see in your profession Copilot. All right. And you can enable your Copilot from here. And as you can see, I have already access to GitHub Copilot. And these are few of the uh, code editors which GitHub Copilot is accessing: Visual Studio Code, JetBrains, Visual Studio, Vim, Nevon, and go to your favorite code editor. Let's say, for example, for me, it's will be VS Code, and sign up your VS Code with your GitHub account and turn on the GitHub Copilot. So, and after doing that, go to extension and type GitHub Copilot and install. Can also install the GitHub chat. And so let's understand how it is going to work. And once you're done with installation, simply you can create Control I and give a prompt. I'm working on Python file. So let's say I want to create a calculator app. Create a, and as you can see, it is automatically creating the code without I don't need to. And now it's, let's say you don't want this code, you want some other alternative code of it. You can click on regenerate, and the new code will be generated. And if you want, you can click on accept, and here's the code. Now let's say I want to add comments, and I want to create an class, create a create a class tab. And as you can say, I can just directly, the code is being generated from itself, and you can work on it. As you can say, I just don't need to write anything based on my previous code. It is just predicting and giving me an output. And if you want to accept the code, click on tab, and it will be accepting the code. And let's say you want to explore other ways, click on alt and side arrow. This is the arrow you need to click, and it shows alternate ways of whether you want to implement or not. Let's say elif statements. You don't need to worry about syntax errors or anything. You can directly create the code. Now let's say, and one more thing I want to highlight here is if you're working on a new file and if you don't have any prior data, it is not going to predict as expected. Let's say create a flask app. Is not going to predict me any answer because it doesn't have any previous data. It means it is working on my, it needs some more context of the data and works on my data. All right. So always, let's say I want to work on something, and I want to create a HTML tag. So I'm just going to click it's dot HTML, and I'm going to give a prompt saying Control I for shortcut, create a website, and it need to have three sections with
Vasay, I think you're on mute. No, you're still on mute. Oh, perfect. Awesome.
so let's say you want to understand how things are working on around. Uh, just click on slash, select all the code and click on slash. And you want to understand how it is worked. You can click documentation. You can understand how what we have written by clicking on explain. And let's say you have written a code and you don't know how to fix it. There is error and you are not sure how to solve it. You can always click on fix and it is going to give you the output. It is going to fix you the coding. And let's say you want to test whether the output is going to be giving us expected output or not. So for now, I want to make this code shorter. So let's just say make the code shorter. And as you can see, it is generating a code, which so previously it was around 20 lines, and I just need to click on accept. So the code have been shortened. Let's say now I want to understand what the code is all about. Modify using Copilot and slash explain. It's going to explain you everything about how what we have been using here. You can see the JavaScript function validation form is designed to validate and so on. So each and every line of the code is going to understand. The Copilot is going to make you and explain you everything, and it is going to interchange with your files. Like as I said, we have Python file, JavaScript file. So it is going to interchange with each other, and the more code you have written, the perfect output will be given. The Copilot have the ability to give the perfect output. Let's say, for example, one of the common problem we get is if you didn't provide any context, it is not going to give you proper output. Let's say now you can see it is not showcasing any output for me until unless I type on it. And once I write the function, it is showing me. Okay, so this is how you can work on it, and this how it is showing. So the more you write the code, the more it is going to understand what you want actually from Copilot, and that's how it is going to work. And try if you want to understand how Copilot is being used, until and unless you work on it, try practicing how different patterns, different structures, uh, so that you are familiarized with how it is going to integrate with it. So that's it from my side.
Awesome. Uh, I see we have people still joining and watching us. If you have any questions, feel free to drop that here. Also, by the way, for all of those who didn't know, we also have a GitHub channel on our Discord server. So in case you're stuck somewhere, in case you have any question, feel free to ask us over there. And Vasay is already there on our Discord, and you can directly either tag him or reach out to him for further questions. We will also be having more campus experts from GitHub watching and keeping an eye on that channel. You can always reach out there, ask questions if you have any, and maybe if you want, you can also help other developers or hackers who are kind of experimenting with GitHub Copilot. Perfect. I do not see any further questions, Vasay, as of now. But to kind of start concluding the event, do you have any ending remarks or something? Oh, I do see one question here from Ashish. We need to pay for Copilot after finishing our college, right? Once we are done with education. Uh,
Yeah.
do you have any take on that, Jose? Before I jump in?
Actually, yeah, we don't need to pay once we are finished with our college.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely take perk from the student developer pack, and from what I remember, there's also 1 month free
Yeah, free
thing with
trial.
GitHub Copilot. So I would say leverage the developer student pack until then, because I think being in college, I would never have missed taking the advantage from the student developer pack. But once you're done with the education, I think that's a good question to ask because, um, of course, it's only for students, and for more professional, maybe you can request your company or something where you're working. But yeah, I think that's a great question to ask the GitHub team. You can always reach out in the GitHub channel on Discord, and you can ask the same there, and hopefully you could get more better answer. But from what we know, yes, it is only for the students under student developer pack. In case you're not student, you can still leverage the 1 month free tier for the GitHub Copilot, and that would be great. Reasons which make me go back to school. Yeah, definitely. Thanks to GitHub for providing tools for free. Oh, of course. Like I remember my university days, and I have leveraged a lot of tools from the GitHub Student Developer Pack. So, and it has been like amazing. Again, if in case you haven't availed the pack yet, please go ahead on this link, which is bit.ly/htf4-stp. And this is more of like a priority link. So if you go ahead and apply with that, you get prioritized with your application with respect to Student Developer Pack. And of course, if you are coming in person, we'll be more than happy to meet you. We are going to have a GitHub booth as well in person. So Vasay is going to be there. A lot of people from campus experts community, some people from GitHub, Ashwin, of course, and a lot many folks you'll meet there. So if you're joining in person, do not miss chance to say us hi. Perfect. I don't see any more questions as of now. Just a quick reminder, you can join our Discord as we have a GitHub channel there. You can find the link in the description as well. But yeah, that was it. Thank you so much, Vasay, for sharing all of those insights around GitHub Copilot. I am kind of looking forward to how this goes and excited for to have you in person as well.
Yeah,
Do you
looking
have any
forward
closing
to all
remarks?
the hackers. Yeah, looking forward to meeting all the hackers during this fall event.
Awesome. Perfect then. Thank you so much. Well, everyone in the chat, thanks for tuning in, and everyone who are going to watch this later, thanks for watching the recording. I hope this added value to your time. Again, you can always reach out to us on Discord if you have anything to ask or if you have anything to share. Feel free to comment it below as well. The applications for Hack This Fall are already closed. So unfortunately, we won't be able to have more teams applying to the hackathon. But if you are accepted, if you are approved, I am looking forward to see you at the event, which is on 9 to 11th February, happening in person in Gandhinagar. We are going to have more of the workshops from our partners coming up in the next week. So stay tuned for that because I'm sure it's going to be super exciting. And those are already scheduled on our YouTube channel. So if you go click on YouTube, open your new in a new tab because you'll miss me right now speaking. We have one coming up from Vonage, and it is about supercharger hack with web APIs. It's going to be super interesting because Carl is going to take us on a journey of making your hack supercharged like anything. And then we have another one coming from another partner of us, which is Orcus. And the workshop is getting started with microservices, architecture, and conductor. So both of them are going to be interesting. Saksham from Orcus team, he's a software engineer there. He'll be joining us for that one. So see you next week. And yeah, enjoy and happy hacking. Take care, everyone. And I'll take a leave. Bye bye.